This is WNBC TV New York. News Center 4 is brought to you tonight by your participating Toyota dealers.
Good evening, I'm Chuck Scarborough. What you're about to see is a graphic example of the human cost of economic decline. Newark, like New York, is staggering under the weight of rising costs and shrinking revenues. Both cities are trying to stave off collapse by cutting expenses, and those who are getting cut are screaming. In Newark, 6 schools were disabled today by angry teachers, and there was bedlam. 2 schools were closed down completely, and in 4 other schools there was no attempt made to teach. Children ran wild, roaming the corridors and classrooms without supervision. Others were herded into auditoriums and cafeterias. At the Wilson Avenue School, not one teacher showed up, and hallways were dark and empty. At Camden Street School, only 2 teachers were present, and most students stayed away too. Attendance was normal at Vailsburg High, but only 3 of 79 teachers were at work. Hundreds of Newark's teachers and other personnel went to Trenton today to make a last-ditch appeal to the State Board of Education against budget cuts that will cost them a lot of jobs. With tears in her eyes, Teachers Union head Carol Graves demanded a halt to the layoffs, and she reiterated the threat of a full-scale strike. She said it would not be illegal.
We don't want to hear anyone accuse us of an illegal act. We want an investigation, whether it's by the Attorney General, whether it's by this body. Because you see, on Friday, if those plans are implemented, on Tuesday, someone is going to say, we are guilty of an illegal act because, gentlemen, we will not work under those conditions. We will not be a party.
In New York, Mayor Koch's plan to cut city-run hospitals got him branded a racist by the NAACP yesterday. And today he met with several black leaders in City Hall to discuss those cuts. But it turned out that the hospital cuts weren't even discussed today. In a news conference following the 90-minute meeting, black leaders accused the city of being insensitive in the case of Eloise Perez, a 23-year-old black woman who worked in the CETA program in Brooklyn last summer. Mrs. Perez was beaten by 8 whites, and black leaders claim the city dragged its feet in getting proper medical attention and compensation for her. Mayor Koch says the city has done everything it could for the woman. But the mayor acknowledged his budget cuts are causing him political trouble with the city's blacks, and he promised to try harder to improve those relations. Those cuts are necessary to begin closing a gap in the budget the mayor says is $1 billion over the next 3 years. It could be worse. City Controller Harrison Golden says it's a lot worse, $600 million worse. A judge in New Jersey has tossed out the state's abortion law, which said poor women couldn't get free abortions unless they would die without one. Mary Alice Williams explains.
Chuck, restricting abortions to women whose lives are in danger isn't good enough, according to the judge. He's ruled that Medicaid funds should finance abortions for women whose health is in danger as well. And that should take into account not only their survival, but their age, their mental health, and their physical condition. Essex County Judge David Furman says the right to protect one's health is a fundamental constitutional guarantee. And since there are funds available, poor women have a right to them. It means the state of New Jersey must start paying for all abortions medically necessary for poor women now. Joan Vermeulen, a member of the Right to Choose group that challenged the law, explained the specifics.
For example, we would say that anyone under 15 or over 35 who runs a much higher risk of health or life dangers as a result of a pregnancy would now be able to get an abortion paid for by Medicaid. Women who have severe obesity problems, women who have psychological problems that are made worse by the pregnancy will now be able to get their abortions paid for by the state.
During the short time the Medicaid abortion law was in effect, only 12 women a month received abortions financed by Medicaid. That figure is now expected to climb to 900 a month. State officials have not yet announced whether they'll try to appeal today's ruling. Chuck?
Mary Alice, Pope John Paul II reiterated the Catholic Church's defense of motherhood today. Speaking at St. Peter's Basilica, he said motherhood is the eternal vocation of all women and should be protected and promoted.
I've seen the economy cars. Nice, but dull. Toyota, what have you got?
The Corolla liftback for $79. Practical and sporty.
You got.
A liftback that opens to plenty of room.
You got.
A machine that handles like a sports car.
You got a Toyota.
Toyota Corolla, you have got it.
You asked for it. You got a Toyota.
Now, ShopRite does the can, selling lots of brands of everything in cans. Today it's great to save some cash, so come to ShopRite's can bash from applesauce to zucchini. It's a can saving spree. Now's the time to shop at ShopRite's can blast. Now's the time to stock up while the value's last.
This week at ShopRite sliced or whole potatoes, 5 one-pound cans, only 99 cents.
Louise, Marcia, Susan, I've called lots of women to the fur vault at Alexander's. Here they are, my customers in their beautiful new furs.
I'm Deborah. I'm Eileen.
I'm Juanita.
Come to my January fur event. Get my lowest prices of the season, up to 50% off on a special collection. Raccoon, nutria, coyote, even natural block llama mink.
I'm Bessie.
Susan, I'm still waiting for you.
Tom, I've tried every can of cat food in creation. What does it take to tickle your taste?
Take 6 letters to spell. Taste the right way. P-U-R-I-N-A.
Purina. Tom, since you love the taste of Purina canned food so much, why didn't you spell it out for me before?
Takes 6 letters to spell. Taste the right way. P-U-R-I-N-A.
Operating money for themselves rather than return it. What's the matter? I'm sorry, I thought we had a microphone problem. It's okay? Anyway, they allegedly kept $31,000 in extra operating money for themselves rather than return it. And the 3 Rikers Island guards were suspended today. They're accused of attacking 3 inmates with a knife and a bat after one of the prisoners cursed at them. 3 children were killed last night in a fire in their home in Flushing, Queens. Bob Teague has a report.
Third fire to break out in the Opiella family's home. 155th Street near 59th Avenue in Flushing. Their 4th fire since December of 1977. They had survived another fire in the same span of time while staying temporarily at a different house in this block. This time, 3 of the 8 children in the family were trapped by the flames in their attic bedroom and died there. 13-year-old Trina Opiella, her 12-year-old sister Susan, and their brother Peter, age 6. Firefighters said the 2nd floor and the attic had collapsed before they arrived. The mother and 4 other youngsters, ranging in age from 8 to 15, were hospitalized last night. Today, there was very little left of their home, a gutted hulk. The 2 houses next door were damaged, and firefighters said the blaze may have been set. Bob Teague, News Center 4.
Well, I'm told we did have a microphone problem a moment ago, and I apologize to you for that. Thousands of public school children in New York City have a tough time passing standardized reading and math tests. And now, as David Diaz reports, there is a new test which is supposed to pinpoint why some youngsters do so poorly.
Reading involves skills such as visual discrimination, that is, recognizing letters or numbers correctly, and auditory discrimination, which means recognizing sounds. Tests like these, developed by District 10 in the Bronx, help pinpoint exactly where the student is strong or weak. But once you know that, the problem is still how and what to do about it.
If we just diagnose children, not every child can be given the same prescription. There are children who learn in a visual way, there are children who learn in an auditory way, and teachers have to be trained. There has to be a district philosophy, and I find that materials that are developed by a district sometimes are much more valuable than commercially prepared materials.
The Central Board's tests will not replace those tests already in use in certain community school districts, but they are expected to be of special help to those districts that don't have such a test and for those students who move from one district to another. But the question is whether there'll be enough money come next October and enough other resources to make a difference even with the tests. At PS 261 in the Bronx, I'm David Diaz, News Center 4.
Just in case you missed it during our microphone difficulties, I'm going to repeat a story we had for you. Schools Chancellor Frank Macchiarola is suspending 7 custodians without pay. They allegedly kept $31,000 in extra operating money for themselves rather than return the money. And 3 Rikers Islands guards were suspended today. They're accused of attacking 3 inmates with a knife and a bat after one of the prisoners cursed at them. They lost their childhood when they were children and became prostitutes, but now the federal government's paying for a treatment